department since 2016. I teach primarily on digital methods, but I'm also taking on this opportunity to talk a little bit about internet culture to you, sir. And we have a couple of things today. We have our introductory lecture on the creative digital economy, which is sort of like setting the baseline for the rest of our course, or remaining 9 weeks. And we will talk a little bit about organizational things. What is this course about? What do you expect? What are the main takeaways? So what will you get from me as input? But I will also talk a little bit about what we expect from you for the assessment, yeah? Which is not intended, so nothing to worry about right now. I will also give you a brief intro about what we mean, or what we might mean, when we talk about the digital economy. What is this thing? How does it dominate economic discourse? What are some recent examples that may help us characterize influences, outputs of the digital economy? How does this thing work? And we will also try and tackle a number of theories that can help us understand the digital economy a little bit better. And I will also give you an outlook of what we will do throughout these remaining 9 weeks, if you will. Okay, so I talked a little bit about myself already. For those of you who are interested, I do a lot of research into social networks. I wouldn't go as far to call myself a social network scholar, but what I'm very interested in is how individuals, you and me, companies maybe even, professionals, use digital platforms to form social ties with business partners, with friends, family, and with other important stakeholders. How does this change our perception of what a relationship is? Yeah? Recently, I've also started to do quite a bit of research on YouTube, specifically on YouTube content creators. And I'm specifically interested in how the notion or content creators' awareness of the presence of algorithms influencing the production of their content, how it influences their perspective and their practice. So how do you go about producing content? How do you go about analyzing the output of their online intervention? So this is what I currently do. You can find me in my office, which is in 327 in the Strand building. My office hours are Tuesdays and Thursdays. Yeah, so Tuesday, right before this class, you can come and see me. I would appreciate if you send me an email so I know that you're coming. I will be there anyway, but it would be good if I know who to expect and maybe also what you would like to talk about, if necessary. And on Thursdays between 2 and 3. You will also know that this course is co-taught with my colleague Nick, who has a very interesting surname. He was kind enough to spell it out for you. It's pronounced Nick Cernick. He is currently on paternity leave, so he has very interesting things to do at home with the little one. But he will come and join us in week 6 or week 7, depending on how you count, but in any case, right after reading week. So he will be with you for the final 5 lectures and seminars of the term. Okay? Also, conveniently, we do share an office. So he is also to be found in 327 in the Strand building, and his office hours. You can take a picture if you want, but these slides, if you have noticed, they're also in case. Yeah? So no need to panic. Okay? So let's start a little activity. I don't know. I haven't met you before, so I don't really know how well we know each other. But I thought it would be nice if you guys play a quick game. I will also participate. Yeah. So I will join one of the groups. of your partners, or you can also move around the room if you like. Find out what the name of your neighbor is, or what the name of your group member is, where they are from, and who would they want with them if you were stranded on an island. Okay, so let's take 5 minutes for that. Yeah? Excellent. So I can't ask every single one of you where you're from and what your names are, but I will have a chance. I'll be lucky enough to see you all in the seminars later, where we will have a little bit more personal interaction, so it's not all going to be me talking to you, yeah, and standing in front. But just, I will share my answers to those questions if you're interested. So my name, you already know, Cornelia. Where am I from? I got some interesting guesses here. Who wants to guess where I'm from? Sorry? From Italy? No, I had somebody who said Paris. Spain? No. Where could I be from? America, no. One final guess. One final guess. Canada. No, I'm from Austria. A little country in the Alps, which, if you follow the news, is currently under the snow. Actually, I think we had in some parts of Austria, we had 4 meters of snow in the last week. So I come from the mountains. I know how to ski. I'm a very good skier. Yeah, I love hiking. I do love everything that has to do with snow and ice. Yeah, but we can chat a bit later. So this just for me, or to get to know you a little bit. Outline of the module. I already talked about that actually, so let's skip that for a second. Okay. in general, what is this class about? You might all have your ideas, but in general it's about digital technology. Of course, not very surprising, but a very specific aspect of digital technology. We want to understand the impact of digital technology on the economy at large. Everything that has to do with the economy. How does it resonate with the history of previous economic cycles? What does it mean for labor in general? What does it mean to be working in the digital economy? We might all go, after you finish this master's degree, we might all go and find jobs in the digital industries. What does it mean for you? What's expected of you? What input will you have to bring? And what are the outputs that you can look forward to sort of like harvest, if you will? So this is what this course is about. So production of content. What input do we give? What output do we get? How can we understand the role of workers? Is work still the same as it used to be 50 years ago? Sometimes I talk to my mother and I tell her what I do, and she says, oh, it's 9 a.m., you're not in the office? I'm like, no, I'm still having my breakfast, yeah? But of course, I'm also checking my email. I might actually work on lecture slides. I might, at the same time, while I'm sipping my coffee, I might actually be chatting to somebody. What does all this mean in terms of how we produce content, how we go about doing our work? Okay? All right, so a couple of recent examples that might kickstart kind of get our ideas, our creativity flowing. Who knows who that guy is? Yes. Who is that guy?
Logan Paul.
Logan Paul, yes. Who is Logan Paul, and why might I show you a slide of Logan Paul? Or of a news article featuring Logan Paul? What's specific about Logan Paul? Yes?
He posted a video in a suicide forest in Japan.
Yes.
He's dead body and he's like the worst person ever.
He's the worst person ever.
He recently said he's going to go gay for a month.
Oh yes, I read that, yeah. I Googled him yesterday in preparation for these slides. Okay, so what's interesting about that? He posted, you are correct, thank you. I think it was at the end, 31st of December 2017, if I'm not mistaken. He posted a video of going to, when he is in a forest, I think in the vicinity of Mount Fuji in Japan, which is known to be for a very sad purpose or in cause. Lots of people choose to go there to end their lives, unfortunately. Why would a person go there? Why would Logan Paul choose to go there? And why do we discuss it here? What's interesting about this story? About work, about input, output. Well, it's a catchy story. Loads of people might click on it, even if they are disgusted by the title. You might say, ooh, actually, nobody will see watching that video. Let's have a look. Yeah? So something that we might not practice, something that we might not do if we were kind of like surrounded by our peers, by our family, we can now do. We can just go online and kind of like pursue our secret interests. Another thing that's interesting, why did Logan Paul choose to do that video? As we all know, YouTube, content on YouTube is structured and organized around algorithms. Clickbait. You might have heard about clickbait. So he might have given his video a catchy title and say, okay, let's do something completely crazy so I can up my numbers of followers. Okay? So something that somebody who is working as a journalist in the traditional media would never even dream of doing, because there's a code of ethics. There is sort of like work regulation. What do we do? What kind of news stories do we cover with our paper? All this is different on YouTube. What are the regulations? Are there any regulations? Or is it just a wild forest of clickbait, likes, and obscure titles? Okay? Another one, which happened actually not too long ago, October 30th, 2018. A company called Waymo gets the green light for introducing driverless cars in California, so to actually put them on the roads. What is interesting about this story? And what does that have to do with the digital economy? And guesses. What do we need for driverless cars to operate? AI. Yes. What is AI? Artificial intelligence. Yeah. So machines learning by themselves how to maneuver a vehicle on the street, how to not cause an accident if possible, and how to potentially even streamline and better organize traffic, a pressing issue in metropolis, megacities like we have here, London, Paris, Los Angeles, etc. Yeah? Okay, let's skip this slide for now. A brief module overview, so you know what's working, what's waiting for you in the coming weeks. In week 2, we talk a little bit about digital workers and digital work in general. So what are new jobs that are emerging in the digital economy? What are the characteristics of these jobs? What is the influence of how does technology, the advent of digital technology, shape or reshape how people go about producing content, producing products, etc. Yeah? We'll do a little bit of that in the seminars today. In week 3, we have a guest lecture. I'm going to introduce to you a micro-celebrity. You might have heard of that term. A quite successful YouTuber who I'm doing research with, and he was kind enough to come in and speak to you about what motivated him to start a YouTube channel, what are the main perks, benefits, and what are the tricky bits. Hate, for example. People calling at 3 a.m. and telling him, well, I won't repeat it now, but telling him obscure, obscene words. In week 4, we talk more about peer production. People creating goods for free. So what would motivate people to produce stuff for free, to freely distribute them? What do they get out of it? And more importantly, what do the owners of a platform, big tech companies, what do they get out of it? And how do they motivate people to work for them for free? In week 5, we talk more about the rise of platforms. We will discuss the infrastructure of platforms. I've mentioned the relevance of algorithms in context with YouTube. Obviously, those algorithms are not only relevant for YouTube, but for many, many other businesses. So we will talk about how algorithms structure platforms and structure and organize what's being shared on those platforms, with a few examples from social media. Week 6 to 10, Nick Cernick, I'm not going to say too much about that now, but I'll just tell you briefly what it's going to be about. The attention economy. Attention, one of the major goods that we need to be successful as online entrepreneurs, as micro-celebrities, as people doing merchandising on a variety of platforms. Gaming the system, a little bit about approaches or interventions of people, of initiatives, of crowds, if you will, to cheat the system and to go around, to trick the algorithm, if you will. The sharing economy, something that you might have heard of. Sometimes it's also referred to as the gig economy. So people who are working on the go, delivery drivers, Uber drivers, all kinds of people who are kind of like working through the app. And this is rounded off by automation, a little bit resonating with the example I showed you of driverless cars. Do robots take all our jobs? And are we sort of like oblivious, we as human beings oblivious to society and to the economy? And we can round up in reflection and some prep for the assignment. 1 hour lectures, you know that already, 1 hour tutorials or seminars. I'll try to do the seminars. I'll try to build a little bit on the readings, but I'm not going to do a reading exercise unless you specifically ask me to. I'll try to do some interactive exercises because I find these a lot more fun. But if you do have a question about the readings, I do assume that you will have done the readings before the lecture, before the seminars. They are essential for you to get an idea of what I'll be talking about. But if you do have a specific question, if you don't understand something, please come and speak to me. But we will not only do, reread the articles in the seminars, which I hope is okay for you. Assessment. This will be not very surprising. It's another essay for you to write. I'm sure you have had lots of practice writing essays already. And you will have more opportunity to write essays. Yeah? So for this course, you will be asked to submit a 4,000-word essay, which is 100% of your grade. Yeah? So this is not my choice. I would do it differently. I would not just grade you or assess your performance on the essay, but unfortunately I can't change that. But you have a lot of time to work on this until the 2nd of May. Yeah? Okay? The questions for the essay are already online in the module handbook, which is on Please. Yeah, so have a look at the handbook. Nothing to worry about like now. Yeah? Okay? If you were like me, I always wrote my essay last minute. Yeah, so the night before, then I should go right. Yeah? And I passed also. Yeah? So don't worry too much. It's just an essay, okay? Yeah, I know people get freaked out about essays. It's just an essay, okay? There are 3 questions and 1 bonus option. You can make up your own question, but you will have to come and speak to either me or Nick to clarify whether that's a suitable question, to cover the content of the lectures, of the seminars. So please do double check with either one of us. So you need our okay, yeah, to write the essay and your question. But you're very welcome to do that, okay? You might have even more creative ideas than we do, yeah? So we are very curious for you to come up with your own questions. Plagiarism. I'm not going to say much about that. I'm sure you've heard it. Don't plagiarize. Yeah? Don't do it. I don't know what you will find in some kind of like online forums or I don't know. It's not worth it. Yeah? I am confident that you know the rules of what constitutes plagiarism, what doesn't. Yeah? There are also writing labs, which I'm sure you've seen people from the department you can go and speak to. If you are unsure about your writing style, about structuring your writing, and also about plagiarism. Yeah? So if you're not sure about how to quote a reference, if you're not sure about how many, references you need to back up a sentence or a claim, go and speak to either me or I strongly encourage you to visit the writing labs. Yeah? It's a really good resource. And I do encourage you to make use of it. Okay? Here are some examples for reference managing. Actually, I'm not a very good example of that because I have EndNote installed on my laptop. But I've never used it, so please don't take me as an example. Yeah? Because I spend every time I write something, I'm like, please write it out over this. Do it better. Please? Yeah? And maybe you can come to me and explain to me how it works afterwards. Okay? So, now we get to the core of today's topic. we have the organizational stuff out of the way, and we can talk about something more interesting. Okay, so technology and the economy. Something that is specific about technology and the economy is that it is always, has always been, and will always be a new definition, the advent of a new type of technology that triggers one of those movements. So economic scholars, scholars of economic history, they widely agree on the notion that our economy moves in waves and cycles. So things come and go. Okay? So at the end of the day, we have this sort of like wave line. What does this wave consist of? We have a trigger, the advent of a specific type of technology that comes with specific manifestations. So if we go back to the late 18th century, start of 1800, we have the steam engine. One example of technology. And what was specific about this event, is when a new technology arrives, people get all excited. Analysts at the stock market get excited. People get excited. Journalists write about the newest hype, the newest technology. And we look at a sequence of prosperity. People are hopeful. People are like, oh, there's something new coming. There's a hype. I should jump on a train. This is followed, after it reaches a certain plateau, by a recession. So people say, oh, maybe it's just been a fad. It's over. It's all going down. Yeah? Facebook, for example. The hype is definitely over. What's going to happen now? We move into a cycle of depression, when people are disillusioned. But disillusionment also has a good side, because I see things for what they really are. And I can remove all the clutter and take the main essence of this new technology and work with it, which will then lead us into a phase of improvement, and so on and so forth. Yeah? These cycles, some economic history scholars, they refer to these cycles or these waves as Kondratyevs. Anybody ever heard of that term? What a Kondratyev is? It is named after, I think somebody started in or lived in the early 19th century, Nikolai Kondratyev, a Russian economist. Yeah? He was the proponent, and after him these cycles are named. Yeah? So, what are these technologies we had? We already discussed the steam engine and railroads. Why was that important? What did they contribute to the flourishing of the economy? What was different in 1760, late 18th century? What was different? An engine. That's that for us. Sometimes we might do that in the gym. Physical activity. Replaces physical activity. Lift, push, move, tighten, fasten, deliver. Yeah? So all this was not down to a single human being anymore, or to a group of human beings, but you could now engage or use the tool of the steam engine to distribute their goods, to essentially speed up things, make production cycles and distribution cycles more efficient. Yeah? The main contribution of the steam engine. This was followed by the second industrial revolution, as it's often called, early 20th century. What do we have here? The invention of electricity. Yeah? assembly lines, automation. One example that is often used to illustrate, that is often a synonym for the second industrial revolution is car manufacturers, so the ability to mass produce goods. You might have heard of the term Fordism. Anybody heard of that term before? You know what it means? Yes?
It's based on Henry Ford.
Yes. What did he manufacture? Or what did their people manufacture?
Cars.
Cars. Yes. And what else? Mass production. I have a template, and I can produce loads and loads of cars. I have several templates, different types of cars, machines powered by electricity that assemble these. Yeah? Also, triggered movement of globalization, which is already a bit kind of like has passed the type, but cars manufactured at a large scale and distributed throughout the world. Major contribution of the second industrial revolution with the main technology, electricity. Okay? What do we have then? Computers. So computers were not actually invented by Bill Gates or IBM or whoever. I mean, not to discredit the wonderful achievement of these people. What does this remind you of? Anybody ever seen this picture or a similar picture? 1960s. Anybody seen the film The Imitation Game? Yes? What is this film about? Yeah? Sorry? Alan Turing. Yes? What was the achievement of Alan Turing? Yes? Decoded Enigma. Yeah? Was a main cause to kind of like facilitate the loss of Nazi Germany, the loss of the Second World War. But what did he also do? He produced a machine using semiconductors that are the earliest sort of like example of computers, and is still what is the basis of every personal computer and all the laptops that sit in front of you. There's a very interesting, have you heard of the town Bletchley Park? If you have time for a weekend trip, I highly recommend it's the Alan Turing Museum. It's a 1-hour train ride from Houston. It's very interesting. So they still have, I'm not sure if it's that machine, but they might have a replica there. Do go and see it. It's very interesting. Yeah? So what is now, so we said we had the steam engine, we had electricity, we had semiconductors and early versions of computers, computerized machines that did essentially what they do is calculating. What is the intervention of, or the main technological intervention of the digital economy, you think? What does the technology contribute to? What's our main currency? What drives this whole engine of the digital economy? What do you think it is? It's actually on the slide. Data. Yes? Why is data important? What does data facilitate? In a way, it's also moving goods, yeah? Producing goods. So it is on the basis of data that people manufacture goods, even though they might be invisible, they might not be as tangible like goods we had in the late 1800s, but they're still there. They're still considered goods that are traded, that are manipulated, and that are distributed among stakeholders of our society. So what does this influence? Our organization of work. Yeah? If we think back to the 1900s, early 20th century, if you think about the work, how would you imagine? We talked about the Ford car manufacturing company. How would you imagine the organization of work? What did a worker do? How would you imagine their day? What do you think? I would say, or my imagination is very streamlined, yeah? People have shifts. You come 8 to 4. You come 4 to 10, yeah? 24-hour cycle, everyday thing. Routinized production. What is different? How can it be that 2 weeks ago I ordered a pizza at 3:30 a.m. and somebody came on their bicycle, and I'm like, who is working at this ungodly hour? I can't believe it, but well, I still want my pizza. I'm hungry. Yeah? What does this tell us about the organization of work, you think? Yes?
It's like no longer 9 to 5, it's sort of like all the time.
Uh-huh.
Wherever you are. Sort of.
It's all the time, on demand. Yeah? So people increasingly, if you think of not only delivery drivers, people working for Uber, or now we have a new company since last spring, Biovan. I don't know if you've used it. People look at their phones. You have an app, and they check, where do I have to be? Pick up parcel from so-and-so, deliver at so-and-so. No more jobs? Well, go home. Yeah? This is a massive change in how work is being organized, and also how workers, people doing the actual labor, liaise with owners of the company. Yeah? Are they still part of like a Ford car manufacturer company when we had like our annual Christmas party, and this year we go on a weekend trip for all our workers. Let's wait for the holiday bonus so you can take your family on holiday. It restructures how workers, how laborers are embedded within an organization that is the company. Okay? What else do we have? Inputs into production, major change. What do we input? If we think about big data, if we say big data is now, or data, what is big data anyway? Data is data. What is the main input here? If we produce a car, we need metal, we need rubber, we need screws, whatever, to put a car together. What do we input, or what do laborers, workers input into the production cycle of the digital economy? What do they do? If you go online and watch a YouTube video now, what do you input into the digital economy? What do you give to the system? Content in what shape? If you create a video, yes, you give content. Content that is labeled in a specific way, content that is categorized in a specific way, and corresponds with a neural system, something that I will talk about in a second, that deals with that data, reorganizes and reshapes that data to reach a specific output, which could be those funny people that are hyped by the media and everybody. You'll see one of these micro-celebrities, or sometimes even real big celebrities, that we then admire and maybe even purchase their products. Yes? Okay. So a major shift here. What we have tried, or I've tried to establish together with you, the second economy, as the digital economy is sometimes referred to, is fundamentally different from all expressions of the first economy. So steam engines, Ford manufacturers, early computational firms. It is basically invisible. Yeah? Where is, does anybody know where the Uber office is? Where is Uber headquarters? Where do people go to work? We don't know, really. It's invisible. When you ask people 18 years ago, where's the Ford, or if you went to America and you said, where's the Ford headquarters, most of the people would have known. You would have an image of a big factory where people go and work. This is different now. It's invisible. It's in the cloud. So it's increasingly defined by machines trading with or talking to other machines and extracting and exchanging data, which is now the output. You don't have any more physical goods, less tangible goods. They are invisible. And yet they carry a huge weight in the digital economy. So as I mentioned before, we can compare how this new economy, the digital economy, the second economy, whatever you want to refer to it, how it operates, can be referred to or symbolized in the shape of a neural system, like our brain, which consists of 3 phases or 3 scenarios, 3 sections, if you will. So something happens in, let's say, the non-digital world. I go somewhere, I said, okay, I've just been on holiday, but actually I'm tired again, I need another holiday. Let's book a flight. Yeah? So I go to, I don't know, well, actually it sounds really non-digital. I go online. I don't think you will go to a travel agent to book your flight. I go online, book my ticket. What happens then? A signal is sent to a global network of computers that manipulate that data. So what might happen? So you input your personal data, your date of birth, where you want to travel, your credit card information, maybe your frequent flyer, maybe the data of your passport. This is then all sent to, I don't know, British Airways, Austrian Airlines, whatever, data storage. They, similar to YouTube content, categorize biographical data, frequent flyer information. Who is this person? And you get a label, which then leads to an action that is generated by the computational output. You get a ticket, you get assigned a seat, you get assigned, I don't know, meal, if that still exists, etc., etc. And you will move up or down in the frequent flyer system. You will be assigned a status as flyer. Are you a national threat, perhaps? Do we have to check your Facebook, Instagram, whatever profiles to understand whether you will drop a bomb in one of our lovely airports? Or hopefully not. Okay? A few examples here. We won't go through that because we don't have a lot of time, but if you'd like to check, this can be a fun exercise, maybe to impress your grandmother or somebody. Internet live stats. This can give you a taste of, well, we call the digital economy invisible, but this could be an option for you to make it more tangible. What we actually, the extent of all the input we are actually producing on a daily, hourly basis. How many internet users are there currently? How many emails are sent today? It's mind-blowing, believe me. We should all stop sending emails right now. How many tweets are being sent? And this is often, you can have a look at this chart at home. It's quite interesting to see a minute of the day in 2017. So what happens each minute of 2017? There are more updated slides. 460,740 Instagram posts per minute. 120,000 new LinkedIn profiles. Yeah? Have a look at that if you're curious. Big data. Who of you guys wants to work as a big data analyst? Anybody thought about that profession? Very lucrative, I can tell you. Yes? What do you expect to be doing? Just anything. I'm also not a data scientist, so don't worry.
What do you expect to be doing?
Producing insights from large data sets about whatever.
Uh-huh. Producing insights? How will you go about producing insights? What do you need to do?
Categorize and structure the data, find correlations.
Exactly. Categorizing. Establishing labels, comparing these labels against one another, and create projections. Yeah? In response to other events, possibly delineating a future scenario. 90% of all human data ever has been produced in the last 2 years. So if you choose to become a data scientist, you will have a lot of work. So if there's one career that I recommend you guys to pursue, it's that of a data scientist. You will never be out of work for the coming years, I can assure you. Okay, this should be an interesting example for you on the basis of the production of data. China, which I'm sure many of you call your home, yeah? The digital economy of China is a glorified example of the success of the digital economy. I don't know if you've seen that chart before. Rising gigantic numbers when you compare the years 2005 to 2016 in retail e-commerce, and the same, I mean, this is even more baffling, mobile payments. Do all of you guys pay with your mobile phone when you're in China? Yeah. It's unbelievable. So if you compare that to the United States, which is a gigantic economy, and don't get me wrong, the number of people that pay everything with their mobile phones is incredible. So how do you guys do that? Do you have like, does every little store have like a card? Like anything, what would you pay with a phone? Like a candy bar? Yeah. Okay. And this is really everywhere, not just in the major cities, or everywhere. Like, if I go to the remotest town, will I still be able to do that? Yes. Yes. Oh my God. Wow. Okay. I've never been to China, but I see I must go. Okay, and the number of global unicorns. You know what a global or a unicorn is? Yes. What is it? It's a finance term. Yes. What does it mean?
It's like the newest companies who just and
Yes.
they generate the sorry, I don't remember the term.
Okay. Yeah, it's in general it's startups, but those startups that are of global significance. Yeah, that participate as global market, global players in the financial market. Yeah. Here the same trend. Also, China is a big player here. Do you know any of what are like your hype startups? Can you give me an example? Because I don't know. Are there any, like, is this something that you discuss or that you hear a lot about in the media, like about startup success stories or how much revenue they produce? Is that something that's discussed? That's the topic coming up in the media in China? Yes, what is that? What is it? Okay. But it is something, so is that new to you? Telling me that? Does it surprise you, those of you coming from China? Or is it like, yeah, I already knew that? Yeah?
You already knew it. I'm sure you did. Okay. All right. We're running out of time.
Okay, here also a quick overview of the biggest companies, tech firms. Not very surprising, but another indicator that increasingly the digital economy is dominating the economy, and we might actually say the digital economy is the economy. So at the top of this list is Apple. I think it might actually be topped by Amazon now. Yes, at Jeff Bezos. He's going through a divorce now. I'm like, why did I not marry Jeff Bezos? Really? Imagine, I have, I don't know how many trillions of dollars.
But anyway. Okay, the future of the digital economy.
Here, a quick sheet. So this is a survey that has been done among corporate CEOs in the United States. And they have to say what sort of like event will have happened by 2025. So if you take one example here, 10% of people wearing clothes connected to the internet, 91.2% of the CEOs from major companies that were being queried said, yes, I think that will happen. Why might that be interesting? Why would we connect clothes to the internet? I mean, what for? What could that lead to? Data, for example. We could have input our data, like how tall are you, how many pounds do you weigh, what is your daily routine, what is your health status, and if we have clothes that are kind of like equipped with sensors that then communicate with some sort of like data storage that analyzes that data, how do stress levels go throughout the day, depending on how much you sweat or whatever. Yeah, if you take lots of exams, data might explode, and so forth. Yeah. So have a look at this at home. Could be quite interesting. Some of those are very funny, and I don't think will ever happen. Okay, I would suggest, since it seems we have a seminar at 12, is that correct? Are some of you assigned to a seminar group at 12? Yes. I did actually just find out about that yesterday, which is why I suggest we stop 5 minutes to the hour, so we have enough time to go to the Strand building. 238, I believe, is the room, to start with our seminars relatively on time. I know it's very inconvenient. I'm not responsible for timetabling, but we will discuss. I couldn't finish everything today. I apologize, but I will take into account that we don't have as much time for the future lectures. So I'll see all of you, I think, today in the afternoon. That's correct. Okay? See you later. Or in a bit.
我要先溜了，我晚上我就不愿意你了。对啊。
那你说什么？刚上早课，12点钟。
Michael